This video is going to serve as a tutorial for Activity 213 Utility Shed Design, Part 1, as found for part of prerequisite training for civil engineering and architecture. To start off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with a new project. And we're going to start off with utilizing an architectural template and make sure that it's a new project. And we're going to go ahead and say OK. So this is following part 1 of the document and walking through the steps, just showing you how to go through and create those different projects. To get started, first thing we may want to do is go ahead and go to File, Save As, and we're going to save as a project. This file we're going to name, as per the document, Green Utility Shed _ with your initials. And we're going to hit save. Alright, so one of the things that we have to take a look at as this saves and prepares is some of the navigation within Autodesk Revit. So here we have everything is kind of categorized by tabs up here at the top. Within each tab you have what they call panels. So down here at the bottom you have the build panel, which houses and groups buttons or functions that are very similar to each other. So here you have wall, door, window. Those are all part of the build panel. For circulation you have stair, ramp, and railing. And those just end up kind of looking there. So a lot of times, we'll say if we go to this tab and find under this panel in order to find a certain tool. We'll have the properties palette. So the properties palette controls a lot of visibility, controls the view scale, a lot of the different components, and you have the project browser, which is where we're going to start right here. The project browser, we're going to right click on level 1 and we're going to say rename. So we're going to rename level 1, and we're going to change that to floor. Anytime that it asks, you will get up, you'll have a pop-up that will show up with asking you to rename the corresponding level and views. So you'll notice that here, floor plans, you've got level 1 in both floor plan and ceiling plan. We always want to say yes to this, so that way both of those now are renamed. For level 2, we're going to right click and we're going to rename this one to roof, and we are going to rename the corresponding levels. What I would recommend for this particular project is go ahead and let's collapse the ceiling plans, so that way, and I also recommend doing this with students so they don't go through and get confused with some of those different things, because they will end up moving to different ones. So I'm going to double click on floor plan, so it'll be highlighted in bold lettering to indicate that you are on that level. And one thing that we would like to do as well is, along with the floor plan, we also want to take a look at the elevations. So the elevations, if I double click on the east elevation, we see now our levels have been, our floor is set at 0 feet 0 inches, our roof line is now set at 10 foot, and what we want to end up doing is we will later on be taking a look at changing some of these levels and things as such. As we go back to our floor plan, we are going to end up taking a look at the first, under step 3 on the document, we're going to be sketching walls. So here we're going to go to the architecture tab, and in the build panel we are going to find the wall command. So wall is going to activate our cursor. You're going to see a little bit of a cursor change as you do so, and you're going to have some different options. So you'll see we have a little different look. One will be the green color tab that is now under modify place wall, and we have a few drawing tools that we'll have. So now we're ready to start drawing some different components. So here we're going to first start off with, we're going to uncheck chain out of our options bar, and what we're going to do is, just utilizing right now our drawing tool is set at just line. And when we click, and then if I move in any direction, I'm able to go through, and you'll see there's a length of line that I'm able to go through and specify. But as I zoom in, you will actually see we are actually drawing a wall. So as that happens, so solid wall. So if I click there, I've drawn one single individual wall. You're going to notice there's some different snap points that Revit helps you with. So anytime you see a purple square. That means we have, and even it'll have a little tooltip show up by the cursor. It says endpoint. I can click on that, and that will make sure that as I set the new wall in, now you'll see it will connect those two walls and create a corner. So I can go around and continue to create different individual walls. As you do this, you can right click and say cancel one time. This allows you to continue to go on and place new or different walls. If I right click and say cancel twice, that closes completely out of the command. So now we can go through and we can just see playing around with creating walls as we go along. There's a few different ways we can delete walls. So we're going to delete these walls and try a different method. I'm going to starting up here in the upper left hand corner of the drawing area, I'm going to click and I'm going to create, and I'm going to hold down my left mouse button and I'm going to drag, and then anytime I you'll notice that the wall will highlight once I have it entirely inside of this box. So I'm going to get it where the walls are completely inside. I will hit the delete key, and then that will delete the walls. So we always want to make sure that, this is a note, we always want to make sure we're drawing inside of the elevation markers. That are those 4 points that we have here. That's where we're going to be getting our elevation views, and that's exactly what we want to make sure to have. I'm going to go ahead and click on the wall tool again, and I'm going to choose the rectangle tool. So the rectangle tool, again, very similar. I'm going to click once, I'm going to drag to the left, and now it's going to have 4 walls chained to each other. If I left click once I have it set, and now I'll have 4 walls set up in my particular drawing file. One way I'm going to hit cancel twice to escape the tool. Another way that you can go through and select items, I'm going to move my cursor to the bottom right, and then I'm going to drag, and you'll notice the window looks a little different. It's got these dash lines. This is known as a crossing. So if I just touch an item, it will automatically select the entire thing, whereas previously, if I hold down, I have to get the entire item inside of the box to make the window selection. This is known as a crossing, so all I got to do is just touch these items. Once I touch, I can hit the delete key, and that will get rid of the walls. All right, for method 3, we are going to end up going through and using chaining walls. So if you notice, if you leave your mouse on any tool, you'll see that in parentheses it does have a WA for wall. These are known as the keyboard shortcuts. So if I type WA on my keyboard, the wall command will automatically come up. So knowing some of these commands that you use frequently, having some of those keyboard shortcuts, and for users of Revit that use a lot of these different tools, the keyboard shortcuts are a little faster when they go through and you start to learn those. I'm going to go ahead and stick with a single line. I'm going to chain the walls, so I'm going to check this box right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set in 4 walls by drawing. When I click, the difference between that is now I've got a chain, so this stays chained with my walls, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to go around until I have all 4. You notice that here, when I start to get this 3rd wall drawn, Revit is helping me by giving me a blue dashed line to help keep me in line to know when to stop. So I can click here, it's setting the intersection, and then I want to make sure that I click once I get the corner there set as well. I'm going to right click and say cancel twice, and this will end up being the walls that we use for the next video, and we will make sure before we set these up, selecting the wall, we want to make sure that these arrows are to the outside. So what we can do is we can click on those, or if you see those, you can also select the wall and hit the space bar. So the arrows indicate that these are the exterior faces of the walls. Right now we don't have any exterior faces, but as we make changes, you'll see that there are going to be some in future videos. We're going to see the difference between an interior and exterior facing wall with those blue arrows being toggled. This will complete the first video in getting started with the green utility shed. Please look at the next video to start looking at changing some of the dimensions of the walls and starting